Baphomet, a demon, thought about his past life in the Tower of Abyss, the highest level tower. He ruled it, and hunters came to challenge him, but none could defeat Baphomet. He killed everyone, no matter who they were. Even a little girl who attacked him didn't escape his wrath. It thrilled him, but it also made him sad. Humans were like toys to him, to be broken when he was done. Yet he couldn't leave the tower, and he grew bored. Then, one day, a mobile phone rang. It belonged to one of his victims, a hunter he had just killed. A man entered the tower, determined to kill the demon and become the greatest hunter. Baphomet began to beat the man, but the hunter begged for his life and explained how the phone worked. Intrigued, Baphomet spared him for a while to learn more about it. The hunter even tried to kill him later, but was crushed by the demon. Baphomet became fond of the mobile phone and started to enjoy it. He remembered how he used to collect items from the hunters' bodies, including a book with code references that he had once considered trash. Over time, Baphomet learned about the human world by studying these items, even about girls from the pictures men carried with them. His desire to visit the real world and see everything for himself grew stronger. Baphomet knew that humans believed in God, who granted their wishes, so he started to believe that God would grant him his wish too. Then, a powerful hunter entered his tower, making Baphomet happy to have a worthy competitor. But soon, he started envying the hunter's freedom and strength. Just then, a screen appeared, assigning Baphomet a quest to kill the hunter named Raven in return for his wish. Baphomet struggled to defend himself as Raven taunted him. His desperation to escape the tower and gain freedom and strength like that of a human grew. Finally, Raven attacked, and the Tower of Abyss began to crumble as the hunter cleared it. After the tower was destroyed, rescue teams were searching for survivors. All they found were human corpses. But then, something remarkable happened. A survivor rose from the rubble. They approached him and asked for his name. To their surprise, the survivor turned out to be Baphomet himself, albeit in an injured state. Baphomet had seized the hunter Raven as he was leaving the tower and swiftly pierced his heart. In that moment, a red screen appeared, declaring that Baphomet's assigned quest was complete. Just like that, he was granted his wish to become a human. Before we continue, take a moment to answer the question of the day. What would you do as a demon boss? Comment down below for a chance to be shouted out. Now back to the recap. Now let me take you to a world where hunters battled against monsters living inside gates and towers. Their position was fragile until the day of the gate shock. This event happened when a tower was neglected for a long time, causing monsters to break through the gates. This resulted in the loss of 1/3 of the world's population. In the aftermath of this catastrophe, people began training hunters to clear the towers and vanquish monsters. Among these monsters was Baphomet, a demon who ruled the Tower of Abyss. Most hunters who faced him perished, but eventually he chose to become human. In doing so, he lost all the powers he once possessed. However, people mistook him for the hunter who defeated Baphomet and cleared the Tower of Abyss. This led to him being hailed as the con artist of the century. Now let's fast forward to the present. Baphomet is the backstreet leader of the dungeon quarry. He's revered by his followers, who call him the mob boss. One day, a new worker arrives at the quarry and is introduced to its massive scale. He learns that the quarry expanded because hunters defeated monsters and opened up new areas. The newcomer is assigned to work in Area D, where rare gems are found. Baphomet's followers clear the way for him, and the new worker asks about them. The other labourers warn him that they are nasty delinquents who bully those they don't like, and caution him to stay away from them. During the wage distribution, the head of operations tells Baphomet that his money has already been sent somewhere. His followers offer him food, games, or a trip to the bat house. When one follower asks where Hyun Nim sends his money, he is slapped, and Baphomet remembers how he has to send it to a doctor who treated him when he hit rock bottom. Baphomet recalls how he was portrayed as a con artist, injured, and had to go to a hospital operated by a quack doctor who made him pay with his body. After regaining his senses, he was already working at the quarry to earn money to pay the doctor. When Baphomet started working at the quarry, he thought it was a good place to escape the bullies, but soon he found out that they were still there. Initially, he tried to ignore them, but eventually he fought back and formed a group of delinquents. However, this was not the life he envisioned for himself. Suddenly, a monster attacks a new worker, and the hunters rush to the rescue. Baphomet feels envious of their power and prowess. His followers tell him that he is better than the hunters, and one of them goes on to say how the hunters lie about a luxurious life with magical stones that they don't really need. Baphomet starts to enjoy the conversation, and a smile spreads across his face, filling the room with joy. One of the men even offers Baphomet the chance to take from him his birth name, the name his parents loved. However, the moment of joy is short-lived as a sudden explosion erupts, engulfing everyone in flames. Baphomet feels dejected once again as his toys are broken once more. In the chaos, the explosion had been caused by the newcomer, and the hunters immediately assume him to be a robbing hunter who has attacked them to steal their spoils. The male hunter plans to escape the quarry and bring some help from outside, but the female hunter does not want to leave the workers behind. She insists on staying and fighting the evil man as they deliberate on their next move. Suddenly, the male hunter is killed by the attacker. The female hunter becomes emotional and tries to attack the culprit, but he mercilessly slits her throat. It's then that the attacker calls his accomplices, revealing that they are not robbing hunters at all. They are in the business of selling body parts of hunters. Amidst the chaos, Baphomet rushes to the girl's rescue and fiercely attacks the robbers. In doing so, he completes his hidden quest to feel anger on behalf of a human. As a reward for his efforts, Baphomet is granted the power he had been seeking. He's able to defeat the robbers with ease, thanks to his lightning reflexes. Baphomet quickly seizes the hunter's sword, but as he does, he realizes that the weapon's power has diminished to a pitiful 0% due to its former owner's absence. It's a rule that no hunter can use another hunter's weapon. Nevertheless, Baphomet's passive ability, Master of Weapons, empowers him to wield the stolen sword with astonishing grace. He launches into a flurry of calculated attacks, expertly taking down the intruders one by one, with the exception of their leader, who proves to be an imposing opponent. The leader wields a deadly chained sword that leaves Baphomet bleeding from multiple wounds. However, as if by a miracle, Baphomet's passive ability surges with an astounding 15% boost to his abilities, triggered by his injuries. The stunned leader is suddenly faced with a seemingly inhuman adversary capable of immense power and agility. Without hesitation, Baphomet methodically slices off the robber's limbs, each dismemberment symbolizing the individual he's fighting for. For his fellow comrade who was constantly thrust into danger, he severs an arm. For the quiet man, another arm. And for his food-loving fellow, he heartlessly removes a leg. Finally, for Cha Minwoo, the man who entrusted him with his name before passing, Baphomet cuts off the last remaining leg. With each blow, Baphomet unleashes incredible strength and peerless mastery of weapons, all thanks to his unique passive abilities. Though the battle is intense, Baphomet emerges victorious in the end, having fulfilled his desire for vengeance against the robber who dared to anger him. After dispatching the robbers, Baphomet senses an unsettling feeling. He realizes that seeking power has dire consequences, and the passive outburst attack has triggered the berserk debuff, causing him to crave murder. Baphomet readies himself to harm the female hunter he just saved, but before he can do it, somebody shows up. This person tells their boss about Baphomet's actions, and the boss hurries over. The boss has special powers, and he uses them to make Baphomet fall asleep. While Baphomet is in a deep sleep, he starts having a terrible dream. In the dream, his demon self tells the hunter he killed, Raven, to turn into a human and come after Baphomet's human form. It's a scary nightmare. When Baphomet wakes up, he's in a strange room. The manager from earlier is hiding nearby, and he recognizes Baphomet. He thinks Baphomet might be trying to trick them again. The manager has tried to find out who Baphomet really is and if he's a hunter, but he couldn't find any information. The manager asks Baphomet if he's going through awakening or if he hasn't become a hunter yet. He says what happens next depends on Baphomet's answer. But Baphomet doesn't respond well. He gets angry and curses at the manager. He tries to punch through the wall and says people thought he was a hero. Baphomet also threatens to hurt the hunter he thinks is a robber, even if he comes back to life multiple times. Suddenly, a mysterious man steps forward. He reveals who he is and grabs Baphomet firmly. He says he's part of a government group called Rogue, and their job is to stop hunters who commit crimes. The manager then explains that the hunter Baphomet killed was actually a criminal. This criminal had pretended to be a hunter to hunt innocent hunters and sell their organs to some old men. These men believed they would become healthier or immortal by using organs from awakened hunters. The manager thanks Baphomet for taking care of this criminal, but he also says that Baphomet has killed 5 other people, and their bodies were cut by a skilled killer. The manager is worried. He thinks someone who's really good at killing, like a pro, did those terrible killings. He's afraid Baphomet might turn into a criminal, so he's getting ready to fight him. But now, Baphomet's at Hunter's Central Administration. The manager didn't kill him. Instead, he offered Baphomet a job as a hunter at Rogue. So, Baphomet's signing up to be a hunter. They're making a record about him. The lady at the front desk asks for his username. The boss told him to pick something not too flashy since their work is secret, but Baphomet chooses his real name, Baphomet. He thinks he'll become super strong, and everyone will be scared of him. But then, when he's fighting monsters, his boss calls him. He's mad because Baphomet used his real name as his username. People are talking about him, and not in a good way. What will happen next? Find out next time by staying tuned for our future recaps. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more great recaps.